Conference, and obviously Bernard Hopkins had a lot to say. He always does. Before we get to that, a little bit about working with Golden Boy Promotions and Planet Hollywood Hotel, because obviously it's the first time you've worked with all the three of you.
Planet Hollywood, Robert Earl, the chief executive officer of Planet Hollywood, has been great. I mean, he's not cut any corners here. It's their first big fight, and you couldn't ask for a better host for such an occasion. And Richard Schaefer and his team at Golden Boy have been, again, excellent people, real professionals. There are so many amateurs in this business, who think they're promoters, but these guys know what they're doing. And I think between us, we've promoted this really well.
In all the years that you've known Joe Calzaghe and have seen him prepare for fights, how would you assess his attitude and the way he feels about this fight?
Well, he's very relaxed at the moment, but maybe part of that is the fact that he's a very confident guy anyway. But I think maybe part of that is the fact that he's fighting at light heavyweight and he hasn't had to struggle as he's had in the past to make super middleweight. Where he's had to work really hard and he's had to be very, very careful with what he eats and drinks. It's been good for him, or we think it's good for him, because he's not fought at light heavyweight, so we'll see on Saturday.
Again, in all the years and all the promotions, how would you assess Bernard Hopkins and his team and their attitude towards this fight?
Well, he's got a fantastic team around him. Joe has the same people he's always had. He's brought in additional people to work with him. Freddie Roach, I really do respect, as do his other trainers. But what they have going for them, they've got a guy who is an athlete. As he said himself, he doesn't misbehave, he doesn't drink, he doesn't binge. A lot of fighters can learn from that. Maybe you don't want to be fighting when you're 43, and I wouldn't advocate that any boxers do that. But this guy is in better condition than most young fighters.
Team Hopkins have said a lot of things. They say, first of all, that, who has Joe fought? Then they say, OK, well, this is his first time out of the country. And they turn around and say that, that he isn't who he thinks he is. What do you say when they come around and say they're just not impressed or intimidated at all by anything that Joe Calzaghe's done?
Well, I hope they feel that way. They might say it publicly. I don't think they believe that, but if they do, fantastic. They'll underestimate Joe tonight. You look at Bernard Hopkins' record. He's fought one of his opponents 3 times. He's fought another guy twice. So you look at that, whereas Joe's, there's no rematches or whatever on Joe's record. He's beaten the guys and that's it. But Bernard is, I respect Bernard Hopkins. And I know Joe doesn't underestimate him, and I certainly wouldn't. If that's how they feel, then that's how they feel.
And finally, you said in the press conference, this is really almost about country versus country. You've said to the American people, come out and support your man, because the Brits are certainly here in full. Do you really firmly believe that it is a bit country versus country here? Well,
it should be. That everybody gets behind their man. Any sporting occasion, a big sporting occasion like this is a big fight. You'd expect that the Americans will come out for the American guy. The Brits, the Welsh, they're all over here for their man in droves.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, darling.